All right, guys, I'm going to review some of the examples that we covered in class today. So we looked at equations that involve a radical and how we get a variable outside of the radical expression, okay? So guys, the first thing that you need to know is that the radical, the term with the square root, needs to be isolated, okay? So my first step is always to use inverse operations to get that term by itself. Okay, so in this case, that means I need to subtract 5 from both sides. And that isolates for this term. All right, and then my next step, to cancel out the square root, I need to square root both sides. I'm sorry, I need to square both sides. So when I do that, that is going to cancel out the square root. And this inside of the house comes out. So both the square root and the exponent have canceled each other out. So I'm left with 6x equals 6 squared is 36. And then I'll use the inverse of multiplication to cancel out the 6. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6, and I get x equals 6. Okay, so key thing to remember is that the inverse of the radical sign is when you square. Okay. All right, and then in this example, I want to get the square root of x plus 2 by itself. So I need to add 3 to both sides. So I'm left with the square root of x plus 2 equals 12. Okay, and again, this is good. I have that by itself, so I can square both sides. The inside comes outside, so I have x plus 2 equals 144. And then my inverse here is to subtract 2. So my answer is 142. Okay, so again, you are isolating for the term with the radical, and then once that is isolated, you're going to square both sides. Okay, I'm going to look at this one. I'm going to skip number 3 just for the sake of time. All right, so here, this one looks a little different. It's rearranged, but I'm using the same process. To get this isolated, I need to subtract 8 from both sides. Remember, if there's nothing in front of the 8, it's positive. That cancels out. So I'm left with 2 square root of x equals 4. Again, here, the 2 is outside of the radical. So to take that away, that is multiplication. I need to use the inverse operation, which is division. And then I have my square root by itself. Okay, so here, to solve for x, I need to square both sides. So I get x is equal to 4. Okay, so if you guys have any questions about that, please let me know, and I can do some more examples.